Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally here in the grand finals of WCS EU Challenger. My name is Fear Dragon, and I am joined by Nathanius. Fabricant. Fabrican.
Yeah.
You had a long day, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard that too many times in my life, all right? Ravioli, all right?
All right.
I heard you.
All right.
You guys going for cute nicknames? You don't got a cute nickname for me?
Isn't that your cute nickname?
No, it's not enough. I need something. I deserve something better than that. I've heard that from all the other girls, Ravi, all right?
Nitty Poo? I don't know. That's the cutest one I could.
That'll do.
Okay, I can dig it. All right, guys. It is going to be our grand finals once again. Serral versus uThermal. Both these players having a pretty awesome run to get to this point, going through, I mean, open brackets to the ladder qualifiers and then feeding into the group stages where they had to play. And finally, we had our good old finals bracket that we had where Serral did finally drop one map to Hero Marine in that first semifinals match, but uThermal having a little bit harder of a run, or I should say he's having a harder time of the run, losing a couple of those games, but still looking really strong.
Yeah, I mean, taking out good opponents. But he's played 2 Protoss today coming up through here. And Serral has defeated not only Stefano, but also Hero Marine. And Serral has looked unstoppable. He is so good. I mean, really, that one map that he lost against Hero Marine, he attacked like, maybe he thought that his +2 was like 10 seconds away and not 20 seconds away. But really, like, he had it. He's been playing so well. uThermal's been doing some weird stuff, which is what he's known for. So maybe he's got something off-brand that he's going to bring to this grand final to upset the balance of space and time. But for all intents and purposes, Serral is still the best player in Europe, best player outside Korea. People are looking at him to be like, yeah, if he's the best player, if he is as good as being 300 MMR points above number 2, then he should be able to rock this, and I'm very interested to see what uThermal brings because I love the guy. I'm super biased for uThermal. He's a great Terran player who does creative builds, and he's a friend of mine, and he's Dutch. So,
yeah, a lot of points in his favor, I'm sure, for a lot of fans out there. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Serral is on paper, and for everyone's minds, he is the heavy favorite. Versus no matter who he's facing off against. In Europe, he is going to be the heavy favorite. So uThermal is going to be the one that has to pull off a bit of an upset. But that is also where I feel like good old Schlappy tends to do his best, is when he's sort of playing as the underdog.
Yes, that's what makes this most exciting to me, because that goes right back to his victory at the Intel Extreme Masters in Shanghai, where our analysis was, oh yeah, well, you know, I mean, uThermal's good, but, like, Protoss isn't doing that bad right now versus Terran, and it's Neeb. So, like, come on. This is going to be an easy win for Neeb. He's going to walk away with $1 bajillion here in China, and that's not what actually happened.
Nope.
He didn't actually win $1 bajillion. It was some other more realistic number.
Yeah.
And, well, here we are once again, where uThermal has 0 pressure on him at all, because no one should expect him to beat Serral. He's certainly capable. But it will be very difficult for him. And to do it, he's probably going to have to go all the way to 7 games. But I'm excited to see what happens because he shouldn't be feeling the pressure, really. He's done a great job getting here. And this is an awesome opportunity for him to really be like, hey, guys, I'm still here. You know? Like,
yeah. It's so funny. I feel like the way that this is shaped up, because, and not just because we have been hyping up Serral, the entire world has been hyping up Serral so much. Yeah. I almost feel like there's a bit too much pressure on him in some ways, because realistically, if you look at it like this, if Serral doesn't win here, it's kind of disappointing for Serral. Like, think about that. That's that's frustratingly lame for him, right? He has to win, or it's a
if you want to be the best, you got to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You know, that's what it means to be number 1, is to have everybody chasing you to try and take that spot from you all the time. And when I think about Serral, I'm like, that just comes with it. That just comes with it, you know? He's dating supermodels now. He's on reality television shows. That's what you get. You're too good at the game. You're not allowed to complain anymore.
Yeah. Did you read the game chat when you said that?
No.
Oh, it was just funny because you were saying how Serral wants to be the very best, and immediately as you say that, uThermal is like, I want to be the very best.
You know,
so.
I actually made, I went through all the lyrics of that song earlier today in one of the previous casts with In Control, and I just replaced the words with Starcraft words. It's back there. I actually went through all this before uThermal even thought about saying it. I was talking about Serral, though.
That's solid. I do think that uThermal is one of those players that has oftentimes struggled with confidence issues. He is the player that will walk into a tournament or something, and he kind of says, like, I'll be happy if I make it out of the group stage 3 or something for a WCS event. So I'm really happy to see him doing well because I know he's gotten a lot of confidence just from today. If he can pick up a win here today versus Serral, I don't think that there's anything in the world that could build his confidence more going into something like WCS Austin than that.
Yep, I agree. And, you know, uThermal kind of put himself in a, like, Snoot position where every time he said he was doing well, he failed. And whenever he was like, I'm not playing that well, he did well. So I'm excited to see how this grand final goes because really, you know, the original timeline says this guy wins 4-0. He is in the top right position of Blackpink, our blue Zerg. He is Serral.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, our red Terran player from Team Liquid. It is uThermal.
Fighting for the European Championship title. You know, I was trying to talk to the DJ, Perplexer, about how you properly reward them. I mean, there's money, there's fame title, of course, motorcades. But I'm hoping we can get a belt for Challenger. I would like...
That'd be pretty dope.
That's what we need next. I want to get a big belt, and I think that's the next step here. It's gonna be interesting because everyone if you were like, oh, who's the European champion, like your brain should go to Serral. But well, he scouts out this, and it is uThermal going back to his old dirty ways. It is he proxied all 3 barracks. And he is just going to go all out against Serral here with a very aggressive attack at the start of the game. The Overlord is close enough. I mean, obviously it's close enough that he can see it, but he didn't have to like show it from as far away as it was. But he's like, hey, or maybe the SCV went under it. But he's like,
did he see the 3rd barracks? Okay, he did. He did.
You should know that I've seen what you've done, or what you're up to here. But he's just going to be 1 bunker so far, not committing with the second at the moment, just keeping the Marine production going. He's getting gas behind this.
Yeah, interesting. Huh. The Roach Warren's going to be coming up for Serral, and he's getting up the 2nd gas geyser to make those Ravagers to bust out here. But usually when you end up seeing a Zerg player go for that, they don't have enough time to save the hatchery itself. So it might just be a sacrifice here for Serral.
Yeah. Coming into this matchup, uThermal has a 69% win rate versus Zerg. He's a player that loves to be aggressive when possible. During the Reaper madness, we saw that he was one of the... I mean, he was the one that got charged with all, you know, if we were talking about a chain of command and whose responsibility that the Reaper madness really fell onto. uThermal was one of the top guys. When they nerfed the Reaper, he was like a mafioso getting locked in prison. He's like, that's it.
Yeah, him and Kelazor just kind of bopped the world of Zerg players with 3x Reaper plays, so he's got some pretty good control when it comes to those. The hatchery does end up falling. Bunker takes a bit of damage to the Broodlings. He immediately just repairs that back up, and guess what? Barracks have already been lifted off and are retreating almost all the way back home at this point.
Yep.
He's got a command center on the way. He's looking good.
A few things I really like about this, Ravi, and they are mostly in the follow-up, because the reason why builds like this have really fallen out of favor. You really do not see builds like just gasless Marine all-ins versus Zerg in particular, despite them being a staple in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. It's because of the Ravager. Ravager is a big part in that. There's just different ways to deal with this now. The Unstoppable Nidus was another one, but the Ravager gives you this really nice ranged artillery drop onto the bunkers where eventually you should be able to just burst them down. And Terran players cannot just commit to mass Marine anymore because of that. So use 1 barracks to scout, let these barracks delay as long as possible, but then just get your follow-up back home. You know, get something defensive, because you know that the Zerg player is going to go straight across the map as soon as they kill the defenses you've left outside of their base.
I love that uThermal. I'd love if uThermal moves forward and actually confirms that there's no lair just in case, because this is a one-base Zerg player, but he saw a lot of the Ravages, so he can probably assume, yeah, you probably don't have the gas to also invest in a lair at this point. But just having that additional scout with the barracks and not retreating all of the barracks home is so nice for confirming what you're likely going to be up against. But oh my god, these Marines getting so aggressive going after the Overlord. They should be careful, the Ravagers are here.
Yeah, the Cyclone, I mean, he really should try to get a tank faster. He actually could die here to these Ravagers if the control is fine out of Serral. Getting rid of that Overlord is so important. Deny the vision so he can try to do something on the high ground. He's going to have to pull SCVs to push this back, but once he gets those units below the ramp, that's when you try to use that high ground a little bit while he just buys time for the Banshee. Keep in mind the worker count is still very close, and the Terran player with Mules should have more income.
Well, Serral's taking 2 bases behind this as well as getting up his lair, so he is also getting set up for the next stage of the game and just trying to get some value out of the Ravagers he's made so far. And look at that perfect timing from Serral. Says, oh yeah, this is around the time that you'd be able to get a Banshee out, so I'm going to retreat now and avoid losing all those Ravagers I made.
Yep, this is a really good play out of Serral to counterattack. Also note that he double expanded immediately. He's like, I'm not playing this game. I want this game to go long. I want to have enough money to make all the units. I want the larva. I'm not going to be on some slow 2 base where your Banshee denies my 3rd. And I'm not going to be doing anything crazy off 1 base because Zerg doesn't really have a 1 base game that they can rely on in this version of Starcraft, and any version really outside of that one Ravager rush. That's really it.
Oh, the 7 Roach rush. Oh, that was the
or ZvZ, I guess.
Or yeah, ZvZ has some.
If you're no regret, then maybe. But
yeah, no regret will always have a 1 base all
for most of us mortals. We take 2 bases minimum with Zerg.
Yeah, and Serral's definitely the kind of player who wants to bring into those macro games anyways. With the Banshee out, though, it can get some potential damage done. He's even got a 2nd Banshee now finished up. And the Spore Crawler is not quite finished up at that 3rd, so might have to rely on just the Queen defenses. But luckily for Serral, he's got the Queens, and they're even pretty well in position.
Yeah, good job escorting the Spore Crawler. There's transfuses aplenty, which means those Banshees will not be able to just snipe anything. They will just get healed up. And uThermal is actually going to commit to Cloak, it looks like, as it finishes up. And he is going to make use of that upgrade. We've seen it get canceled quite a bit by Hero Marine in his TVZ earlier today, but uThermal says, I will find some value and utility in this upgrade. I will make something of it. But unfortunately for him, there's already an Overseer out there, so it's going to be a little bit tricky.
All right, double armory on the way for uThermal as well, so looks like he's getting set up for that kind of mech play, and the Banshee's finding some good damage here at the natural.
That's nice. He's got to get the Banshees out of there. I think he needs to...
he's going to lose 1 for sure.
No, okay.
Oh, he might just be sacking them.
I don't like getting rid of both Banshees. I think sacking Banshees when you're playing mech is a huge mistake because you know that your opponent has Roaches and Ravagers on the field. And you know that units like your Hellions aren't going to do anything. And you should also know that because you're going to want to get upgrades in a 3rd base, that Siege Tanks are also not going to be in high enough numbers to really allow you to take your 3rd.
Just having the Banshees alive when the Hellions are there means that the Queens have to be a little bit more prepared to move into different locations. So your Hellions have more opportunities because the Banshees are alive, even if they're not really getting too much damage done.
Yeah, well, for a Terran player who wants to go mech, losing your Banshees means giving up map control. You don't have any mobile forces that can deal with Roach Ravager until you get up to a really high number of Siege Tanks or Thors or whatnot. But those are all your slow units. Those are your units that are not leaving your base. But we'll see. This has been a bit of a weird game.
Yeah, uThermal may just play in a very, very defensive mech style from here on out, just because that's kind of the way that this cookie has sort of crumbled for him. The Hellions are not able to get too much damage done. They do go for a run by over the 3rd. Oh, I love that Evolution Chamber.
That Evo block. He's like, yeah, man, you're not getting through here, my dude.
Yep.
That's good cleanup. Great reaction time out of Serral. That's why he's numero uno.
Infestation Pit got scouted. I actually really wonder. That might even look like another Evo Chamber block or something that was going up. But I assume that uThermal was good enough to click on that Infestation Pit and identify that there is a good chance that Hive will be on the way soon.
Yeah. So the 1-1 is coming close to concluding now. And this little force here.
This is a weird attack.
Poke. There's not a whole lot here to deal with this. You know what would really be nice? Your Banshees from earlier.
Oh boy.
But
what a weird attack force.
Jumping on top of this is ballsy, but pays off.
Yeah.
Swarm hosts are coming out now, though. This is another reason why keeping your Banshees alive is really nice. Your Banshees, if you're playing Mech vs. Zerg, your Banshees should always die to either a Nidus all-in because you lost the game, or Hydras later on, or Mutas, or like Corruptors later on. Like, it should be like a dedicated anti-air unit. They're just the utility of having them. If your opponent doesn't go for any of those very quickly, is just infinite.
Okay, Roach counterattack trying to hit down here on the south side, or just I should say attack coming in on the south side, but it gets deflected. uThermal on top of it. uThermal also scanned the main base and saw, okay, you aren't starting up your hive tech even though your infestation pit is clearly finished up by now, so what are you planning? He might have a good sense that there could be some Swarmos coming out because of that. Just sort of seeing the lack of hive might be telling them. And he confirms it 100% with the medevac scout, which I really like.
That is a very interesting way to do it. I like that a lot.
Save a scan.
I really like this. I mean, the medevac costs gas and supply, but as long as you don't lose it, then that boost does help.
Yeah.
He needs to see the swarm host. Okay, he knows 100% now, and this is where it gets tricky because they're about to land all over your army.
Oh, the siege tanks are still sieged up right now, and those swarmos are going to dive in on top of one of the siege tanks. It goes down. Hellbats clean up the rest of those locusts, and now those swarmos going to be on cooldown for a bit.
That was real. What just happened there was really important. The way that he repositioned his units around the tank to hug it and clean the locusts off was really nice, because even though he killed the one that he landed on, he tried to focus down a second siege tank, and he was not able to get it, and that had a huge impact on the outcome of this next battle, because while he can poke from the side and try to hit with biles on that third base, he actually cannot attack straight into it yet. He has to wait for another wave of locusts. I think he's trying to drop some Hellbat Arenos around those swarm hosts, but this doesn't get easier. It only gets tougher. He needs to get blue flame so that these Hellbats can actually clean this up a bit more effectively.
Oh, really nice anti-armor missile, going to help out a little bit there, but corrosive biles also landing on top of a lot of these siege tanks. He still has enough of a deep enough line to get the pushback on these roaches and ravagers, but the swarmos, remember, they're getting the free damage on because the swarmos themselves aren't dying, just the locust waves.
Yep. Every locust wave that does damage without a swarm host dying is a good locust wave. And in this situation, it only gets tougher. He's moving that command center into an orbital, important to note. You know, one way to deal with swarm hosts is to play that supernova mission from Wings of Liberty. Just play that style. Just be like, oh, it's here.
Lift up your command center.
Lift up command center, move SCVs away. All right, come back. That's one way you can do it if you don't want to try to kill all of the locusts, but.
Well, locusts come in, killing off a couple of the Hellbats. Ooh, good corrosive biles on the siege tanks and the ravagers. And I really feel like Serral's getting a lot of damage on here, and this is the point where I feel like Serral's just been so cost efficient with these trades for so long that uThermal has just been bleeding out the entire time.
That's what makes this map so hard to play. Like, originally I liked it because when it goes long enough, like, it does work in Mech's favor because there's not a tremendous number of paths. But the fact that there's like there's 4 entrances. I mean, one of them's covered by your 4th base, but so there's like really 3 entrances that the Zerg player can take to come in towards that 3rd base. And overcommitting to either side makes the other one extremely exposed. So it's just so difficult to play this position when the Zerg army can just walk around and do this. And we're seeing him get punished really badly. The Locust Wave lands on the north side. The Roaches and Ravagers come in from the southeast. He focuses down the orbital command. No liftoff while it was getting damaged.
Yeah, this is some really bad damage that's uThermal's taking right now. I'm not sure you can really easily recover from this. He's going for a Hellbat drop, but the Spore Caller plus the Queen is going to be able to take care of the medevac, and the Hellbats themselves, they might kill a couple of workers here since they have Blue Flame, but it's at what cost, Nate?
He needs to focus down those drones, and that's also a great question to ask, is the cost of possibly this game here. Ooh, one more shot.
Oh.
Baby, baby.
Okay, well, hopes and glimmers of some damage coming out from uThermal. That is sort of the way that Mech works, is you kind of say, well, if I can just get to a maxed out point and buy enough time, but Serral's just never going to let him get to that point.
Notice how Serral just takes advantage of the fact that there's no anti-air here either, and he holds his locusts in the air. He prevents them from swooping because he wants them to be spread between the units so that they can't kill them all in a clump with like 1 or 2 blue flame Hellbat shots.
uThermal even just, I mean, he's desperate enough that he's just saying, well, let me try and lock on to your Locust Wave with my Cyclones, but that just doesn't do damage all that quickly.
Yeah. This is really nice. I mean, getting him with the sorry, with the anti-army missile. I was about to call it the meme name for it, and I was like, I don't really know if I should do that. But
he's maybe starting to overextend a little bit, so he has to back up here. This is the problem is, even if he manages to push back Serral and defend, Serral has Hive, he's getting up all of his upgrades, and he's getting up all the bases he wants.
Throwing Locust at him.
Yeah, he's fine playing this game and continuing this like mild offense because he's not taking any damage on his side of the map.
Nope. He's like, I'm good, man, I'm chilling, I'm taking bases. He's got more and more bases coming up. And his ability to harass is nice. Oh, okay, he wasn't looking at his Locust there. So you can see he kind of dropped a unit to jabate him down, caused them to land on top of nothing, literally nothing.
But at the same time, Roach counterattack over at the top left-hand base for uThermal. And the Roaches will get cleaned up. It kills off 7 workers in the process of all that. uThermal is pushing his opponent back, but next round a Locust Wave will start to come out, and uThermal's going to get pushed back, and he lost so much of his army in the process. He just doesn't have the income to take these kind of fights with Serral.
Yeah, this is... Everything is just going Serral's way. Like, uThermal can't even break 150 supply. Serral's like, I'm just going to keep building a bank. I'm going to build more units, get burrowing claws for the Roaches. 3-3 is finishing for Serral.
Oh,
got
boy.
The Spire now. Vipers are here.
Yep, Blinding Cloud's thrown down, and he cleans up everything. Finally, Serral has a big attack that's not really getting cleaned up this time. As okay, one Siege Tank is going to hold the line somehow alongside a Cyclone, but 2 Cyclones do manage to take care of a hatchery. That's not bad for uThermal, but there's like 3 hatcheries more where those came from.
Yeah, also doesn't actually end up saving the units with the medevac and getting out. He had a chance, but GG, Serral takes game number 1 here in the finals for our European Championship here in Challenger.
That's brutal, Nate, because I don't even feel like uThermal played that poorly there. It was, Serral was really, really solid at kind of dealing with that situation after he had lost his hatchery to the proxy 3-racks.
Yep. Serral he keeps cool, calm, collected. He's been there, done that. Got the t-shirt to prove it. And, you know, it's probably somewhere on his Instagram or social media. This is not anything new to him at all. Dealing with some proxy bio into mech. It's just so hard to catch this guy off guard. Like, the only game that he lost was really, it all boiled down to just a very narrowly missed timing where the upgrades were just not there, and he took a really bad engagement versus someone that he underestimated a little bit. And he's not going to do that anymore. He's not going to take those chances. He's not going to let the other players sit around and build this mech army and be like, oh, yeah, I'll fight you in the late game. He's like, no, if I can kill you before we get there, then I will.
Yeah, that's the kind of unfortunate thing also about the situation is Serral is the player you never really want to play from behind against because he's so good at maintaining a lead. uThermal is the player that does his best games when he's making a comeback in a game. When he's actually playing from behind, he finds ways to ekes out advantages and make something happen.
It's very hard to do that with mech. It's something that we don't... It's like there's some parts of it that don't really get discussed a whole lot, but mech does not have like the comeback potential of sending out 2 medevacs, 8 Marines in each base, and then like throwing what little you have in their face to distract them while they kill everything. It's like, no, you don't do that because A, you usually use drops, and B, the air units you would use to harass are shut down by spore crawlers until you have Liberator range or you build 20 Banshees, at which point you're really, that's not really like your comeback. If you have 20 Banshees, you're probably winning the game. So it's very difficult to just make something happen with a handful of tanks and Hellions because those alone can't do anything. The Hellions can do a run-by, but at that point, the Zerg can just play it like they're going versus Mass Phoenix. Where they're like, well, you don't have a real army, so I'll replace the drones and get the army I need to kill you and kill you.
Yeah. This is a pretty rough spot, I feel like, for uThermal. I know that we're painting this scene of uThermal basically already 1 foot in the grave right now, but it's only been game 1 in a best of 7. He does still have a lot of opportunities to mix things in. I feel like the unfortunate thing is I did think that he was in a really good spot after the 3-racks aggression killed off the hatchery, and he was able to defend against the Ravager aggression relative. I mean, he actually did lose a little bit to the Ravager counterattack. He lost a little bit more than I thought he would.
Yeah, he lost a handful of units.
Yeah.
He had to repair the factory. He
lost a couple SCVs, lost the depots.
Depots.
Yeah.
And when you are able to get everything done like that, the way that you want to, as a Terran, the first thing you have to do after all of that goes down is slap a bunker at the top of your natural ramp so that that Overlord can't do anything. And then it's like, oh, put your SCVs in repair around that. And that's it. Boom. That's it. You're good.
And for the Protoss players out there, it's because the bunker provides those Marines an extra little bit of range that allows you to snipe off that Overlord, whereas otherwise the Overlord's just kind of sitting there from a safe distance and the Ravagers are protecting it. So.
And you want to put the bunker in the natural because there's nothing in front of it there, like the depot. It's like if you put it behind your wall with your factory and your supply depots, you're going to lose the factory and the supply depots versus the Ravagers. So, and you could also would have allowed him to land his natural a bit faster. But, you know, he was able to doing a lot of stuff. It's the heat of, I think In Control was saying earlier, you know, it's the heat of the moment. People don't always maybe make the calls that they know that they should or that they would if they had another chance at it. But we're loading into map number 2. Let's see if our cheeky Dutch boy in the bottom right can do what he needs to bring it back. In the bottom right, representing Team Liquid, he is uThermal.
And his opponent spawning up in the top left-hand corner of the map. We have our blue Zerg player setting up 1-0 in this best of 7. It is Ence's Serral. All right, and we got a, this isn't a 12 or 13 pool or anything like that. It is just a pool first opening, I think 15 or 16 pool. But this is definitely one of the openings where you want to try and get some damage done. You make a couple of lings, you send them across the map, you try and avoid your opponent's Reaper, and you just try and get some damage on the command center on the low ground.
Usually on this map, the way that you would do it is you just get 4 lings if you want to just do it, 6 lings if you want to be cheeky, 8 lings if you're a madman, and you just run down the left side. Like you go up the left high ground, you just go down around the third base. Your goal is to, as you said, avoid the Reaper, get to the natural, and the reason why I said number of lings, basically, if you go for a few, you could delay it. If you go for the 6+, you could force a cancel. If that Reaper is in your base, when those lings arrive, then the Terran player is going to be a very salty boy.
Okay, 6 lings on the way, and then going back up into the drone. So 6 lings, I feel like, is enough that you can either kind of play the mental mind games with the Reaper, and so you sort of reveal 2 lings and say, oh, hey, here are my 2 lings. Oh, no, you caught me. I guess I'll just go head back, and the Reaper chases off to those lings. Your other 4 lings come in and cancel the command center. But even just if they dive in and the Reaper doesn't see this at all and moves across the map like uThermal's doing right now, you can just have the entire command center go down.
Yep. 1 Marine's being built behind this, and the SCV is now going to see these lings showing up.
Okay, yeah, he's just right-clicking on it.
Wow, just immediately cancels it. He's like, yep. Wow. He's like, I got baited because the Reaper's inside the Zerg base, and he's trying to micro that now and grab drone kills. That is...
Oh, he snags 1. That's not bad.
Versus a player of Serral's caliber, him getting what he wants like that at the start of the game is absolutely devastating. Getting behind like this so early against somebody who is just so damn good.
He didn't even end up losing any of the lings. He might lose some of the lings on the retreat here because it's going to cross paths with the Reaper. No, the Reaper is going over to the third. He's even going to keep the lings alive, so he doesn't have to make more Zerglings to deal with the Reaper now.
So sick, in the words of famous Protoss player Elky.
Okay, well, command center comes up a good bit later. There is that factory with a reactor building the Cyclones, interestingly enough. Is he just going to get aggressive with those?
I mean, he could. It depends. Like, the Overlord should see this, and he's going to be like, well, if I see something coming, I need to make a bunch of lings, because that will deal with Cyclones.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could just halt production of a unit? Just like just say like, hey, hold on. Don't come out yet.
I'd like that. I'll take it. Sure, yeah. Let's get that added into the game, Ravi. Great suggestion.
I mean, that's how Protoss operates. So I just warp in when I want to.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't want my buildings to show what I'm building though. I've learned now that I started playing a lot of Protoss, I'm like, I hate that so much.
Just the Stargates. Just the Stargates.
Yeah, that's important. It's a big deal.
Yeah. All right, well, third base coming down over here for Serral. We got the Reaper scouting that out very clearly. Pops in with the Cyclones. Could get some good damage done as the Cyclones deal a lot of damage to these buildings.
Yes, they do. Whoa. Without having really made many units in preparation for this, he sent Lings to counterattack, but the third gets denied. This is really nice. Really, really nice play by uThermal.
Even has the armory to make the Hellbats and just secure that retreat.
Yeah, that's really, I think that's the most important part about this that you mentioned is if he tries to build a bunch of Lings to swarm this, he just wants to keep everything bunched together, use the Hellbats, and Serral is looking for that army, but he's not going to find it. However, the Lings go back to attack the natural expansion, and they're going to, I don't know if that was canceled, but they're going to kill the depot.
I think it was canceled, so uThermal gonna poke back forward and say, hey, I still got these units over here. I even got 2 more Hellbats joining the fray, so engage me and fight me, bro. Cyclones just going after the Queens right now. Some Lings swinging in from the backside, getting in on top of the Cyclones and avoiding some of the Hellbats at first, but I love this little bit of micro from uThermal. Kills off all of the Lings and keeps both Cyclones alive. Are you kidding me? That shouldn't be allowed.
No, he should have lost the Cyclones. Well, okay. I was gonna complain in backseat chair this one because I was gonna be like, well, he should have just right-clicked the Cyclones onto the hatch and let the Hellbats do their thing. He would have canceled it again, but keeping the Cyclones alive was pretty nice. He's going for his +1 attack for mech, and I assume that we're going to see mech game here. Now, this is where that Banshee can become super useful. You want to help use that to help defend against this. Repair the Cyclones.
I'm not sure if
it's #1 priority right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to get into that long mech game right now because Serral is sitting on 37 workers and just pumping out roaches and Lings, not feeling great about how canceled his third base was so many times for so long and losing all those Lings. He's just going for it right now.
He's going to kill the third here. uThermal will not be able to finish this. That Banshee is basically going to try to win the game by shutting everything down. But if he kills all of the fighting units other than the Banshee, then that does mean that I think Serral should be able to clean everything else up before it becomes an issue. The second Banshee will be huge too.
Yeah, the Lings avoid all the Hellbats and just going after the SCVs. He kills off a ton of them as well as the SCVs that get pulled into the Roaches and Ravagers. So Cyclones are starting to go down. The Banshee is doing some really good damage, and uThermal will technically hold. He took a lot of damage though, and specifically losing that third base means that that damage was not necessarily okay.
Yeah, and he's still flooding units out towards him. He's only just now gone back into drones. He's got his lair on the way. I think you realize as a Zerg that 2 Banshees, okay, you're not breaking that. But you did gut the Terran economy. You killed his third base, so he can't really do anything. The Banshees are the most dangerous unit on the map to you, but you've got Queens, your lair's almost done, and Spore Crawlers take no time at all to build.
Yep, 3 Queens already sitting at that third. Spore Crawlers you were talking about going up at every one of these bases, and got a lair also coming up behind this. Probably the most delayed thing from going for all of that heavy aggression earlier on. But Banshees are still going to be useful for even just some scouting information and picking off a couple of drones here and there. Actually going after the Queens, interestingly enough, but yeah, now it's finding a couple of these drones.
Every drone he kills right now is solid gold. He desperately needs to get some serious work done against Serral. And Serral realizes that the way he bunches those drones back, he's like, no. It's like, I really just, all I need to do is keep my drones alive at this point because you don't have anything. Those 2 harass units are it right now.
And that's a lot of Lings. There's Cyclones and Hellbats. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
Third base is so important, though. I actually feel like it would have been a GG moment if he had gotten a cancel on that third somehow. But uThermal does have all the units back at home ready on the defensive, and just the Banshees trying to do some damage.
Now, think back to the conversation we had earlier about keeping the Banshees alive. Imagine that you lose these 3 Banshees, and
4 Banshees?
they press the pedal to the metal on a counterattack, and then you just die, because those Banshees are so crucial to holding on against attacks like this. And Serral, somehow, he has the sight. He's going to go counterattack right as this army makes its way toward him. Okay,
this is good and bad for him. I mean, the command center's finished up, so it can be repaired if these Lings try and bust down that wall, and the Hellions are also there, so I'm not sure how effective that Ling counterattack is going to be. The Cyclone's now poking forward. Transfuse on the Spore Crawler, keeping it alive and taking out one of the Banshees. That's a really nice start for Serral.
Yep, the Roaches and the Ravagers are here to support as well. The Banshees are able to kill 1 or 2 of the Queens, but it's not enough to get an XD out of uThermal. As Serral finishes up and takes game 2.
Damn, Nate, that was a clinic. That was a little bit rough there for uThermal.
XD is how I feel about that game.
Yeah.
Lowercase, both the X and the D.
Man, That's got to be pretty brutal too, because I'm sure, I know uThermal, he was tweeting about this, how good he was feeling. He moved into this best of 7, the first game in the lobby. He was talking about how, wow, I am so good and feeling super confident. And after 2 games like that, it's just all turned on its head that quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have words. Like Serral's too good at this game.
Serral's really good at this game.
He's too good, guys. He's like almost already won. Okay, it's not fair.
We're gonna create a special WCS region for Serral versus just Finland.
Yeah. Okay.
All the Finnish players, I'm sorry.
There's WCS Korea, then there's the WCS circuit, and now there's also going to be WCS Finland. Okay, where Serral can go beat up on everybody else in Finland and just take all that money.
Like Zhugliang and stuff is like sitting there like, why do I suck with Serral?
And then the rest of the world outside of Korea and outside of Finland won't have to, you know, just lose everything to one guy who's just that good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's the next step.
I mean, uThermal showed glimmers of, I guess, potential in the first 2 games so far. I mean, especially that first game, I think some things were still going okay, but just eventually he gets overrun. I want the meme builds, Nate. I want a meme build at this point.
I feel like he's kind of doing
something on the board.
But
yeah,
it's just like, there's just like that last game was just painful because it's the textbook 6-ling run by pool first. And uThermal just gets completely blindsided by it, loses his expansion, and that delays everything else that he wants to do. So suddenly, instead of having maybe an extra 2 or 3 units to deal with the Roach Ravager Ling attack, he doesn't have enough, and he loses the 3rd base. So he's delayed extremely heavily again. And it's all of these things just compound on each other, whereas there's only 1 cancel on that 3rd hatch, and then... Well, then he got the 3rd kill for uThermal, which is more valuable. Like, the Terran 3rd is more valuable than the Zerg 3rd. But
yeah. Man, it's hard. Okay, well, moving on to Acid Plant. This is a really nice map. I know a lot of Terran players love to do those kind of siege tank pushes on this map, especially if the Zerg player takes that more forward 3rd base location, or even if it's a 4th base. A lot of good damage can be done on this map.
You can siege the other base, too. You can siege the far 3rd from the low ground as well, and we've seen that plenty of times. So Acid Plant is definitely another map that you can't really do the Reaper thing on it because there's no cliff for it, but I do like this map for Terran.
How would you feel about just a 3-Rex Reaper? Just bust it out, bring it back. Maybe not on this map, maybe not on
isolated entirely in this part of the universe?
Oh boy.
At this time?
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, game number 3. We're spawning on top of this player down here in the bottom right that has just been putting game after game on the board. Let's see if we can do another one. It is ENCE Esports' Serral.
Yeah, he's feeling good. He's going. He already knows he's got his ticket to at the end of the year. He's up against this guy in the Northwest, the Dutch Terran player. He's uThermal.
Rocking that good old Terran decal. It's just simple and clean Terran decal. What decal do you rock?
I like the Carbot Pylon.
Ah, because the one with sunglasses?
Yeah, because in the old days, you could set your spray. Your spray was your decal. So I would just spray the pylon in someone's face, like, deal with it, you know? And then people would be like, well, I'm actually really upset now. I'm going to tell you some things about you and your family that you didn't know. And I'm like, oh. But, yeah.
That's so cool. Right. Didn't know they knew your family.
Yeah, very well. And I will also say that my new spray now that I like to use is the GG Easy one, I think.
Ah, you're one of those people. I think my favorite spray is the M Canning cheese spray, where you move in with a super early probe scout, you plant down the cheese spray, and then your opponent will just think that you're cheesing, and they'll start scouting around for the proxies. And sometimes, I think he's even gotten a Zerg player to cancel their natural hatchery because they thought it was a cannon rush.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty legendary.
Yeah, I still hope at some point to do the nuke here spray and then actually drop a nuke on it. You know.
Yeah. You can credit Raze for bringing that into the...
The next level mind game for that is that you use multiple of them. You drop multiple of those spray. You put one in the beginning of the game, but then you send out workers later on and you put 2, because you can have your spray on the map up to 5 times. So then when you drop the nuke and the Zerg can see all of those.
You can only have 5 on the map?
Yes. After,
Ah.
yeah, you guys can see how much I really care about this. It's very important to me. Once you place a 6th spray, the first one goes away. That's how it works.
Ah, interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, Reaper coming forward, getting little bits and pieces of damage done. Shouldn't be able to kill off a drone, but uThermal has been able to net those drone kills repeatedly in these games. I mean, you can say that he's had a hard time in this series, but the one thing he has not had a hard time with is killing off some of those drones with those Reapers when most people don't.
Yeah. Getting worker kills with Reapers on a map that is bad. This map is objectively bad for Reapers. That's good. That's a really nice thing to be able to do, considering that most people have trouble killing workers with Reapers at this point on any map.
I feel like it's just like a confidence boost. It's a small little thing where you're like, after going down 0-2 and you know how good Serral is, you talk up Serral yourself as uThermal, and you're facing off against him in a best of 7, you're like, I need to win 4 games against this guy. Even just the small little victories will really help kind of pull you back out of that mental depression.
Yeah. Well, competitive Starcraft is very heavily rooted in tradition, and the tradition for this game has always been respect for the best players. People don't argue about who's the best. It's very clear and obvious when someone stands, you know, head and shoulders above everybody else. And I'm not just talking about Harsum. You know, I also mean players like Serral, skill-wise, that really do stand tall and show everybody, he doesn't even need to brag about it, you know? Eventually we got Neeb to say, like, yeah, I know I'm good. But that took us forever.
Neeb is hilarious because off of camera, he is so weirdly, shyly confident. He is got like the biggest degree of confidence that he's just really shy about expressing, where he's just like, yeah, I shouldn't ever lose to that player. It's just like, whoa, where did that come from?
Neeb's lawyer will be contacting you shortly. That's slander and defamation.
I know.
Roach Warren and Lair, while we have a bio game coming out of uThermal. And with the Banshee, I mean, go take your 3rd, baby boy. You got this. Ain't nothing they're going to do about it as long as you don't lose the Banshee. The Hellions give a little bit of that map presence, which is nice, but Serral is not attacking. Not yet. Still droning up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Roach Warren is still on the way up, so we'll have to see what he's going to do with that larva after that finishes. As, yeah, just still droning up like absolutely crazy. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go up to like 54 drones at this point, at least. Well, uThermal is not able to get too much damage done with these Hellions. He hasn't even really denied that much of the creep spread either.
To me, when you want to do 3 command center double engineering bay, the Hellions are less about controlling the map and more about being aware of what's going on. Like, if your opponent was going to do a Ling Flood or smake Roaches or Ravagers, you want these Hellions to at least die to it so that you see it coming in some way. Or have them available to try and counterattack. And I think he just got the drone there that was going for the 4th base, which is a nice pickup as uThermal goes to land that 3rd command center.
Okay. And yeah, just securing some kind of space on the map for that 3rd command center to get established. And now the SCVs are here. They can start building things like the supply depot walls, make it a little bit easier to make sure this doesn't fall to something silly later on. I like that Serral's just taking the time and saying, okay, look, this is acid plant. Siege tanks always go here. Let's just knock down these rocks so I don't have to deal with the potential siege tank siege ups later on, or at least in as bad of a spot.
Yep, very intelligent play to make, because I think I've seen it every TVZ on this map. It's one of the reasons why mech is like not good on this map, despite the other reasons like the layout. But it's like, dude, there's so much that you can do with Marine tank between jumping over that and whatnot. And that's why he brings the Hellions to the other side. He's like, no, I'm going to protect these rocks.
Yeah, I like that. That's really cute. Just identifying, these rocks are on my side for the most part, so let's keep them alive until I maybe get up some of my own siege tanks or something. He does have the tech lab on that factory and has 1 or 2 siege tanks? 2 siege tanks out now, so he's making that push.
And he's getting ready to come over and try to shut this down. It's the bane of every Zerg's existence. How will Serral deal with it? Is uThermal going to be able to pick up his 1st win in this series off the back of this textbook cookie cutter Terran versus Zerg shenaniganery? Here's the medevac, bringing the Marines to the other side. Now, he didn't bring all the Marines, which is smart, right? Because the Lings, you know, they don't. There's an opportunity to try and jump onto the tanks themselves.
Ooh, Queen's pushing a little too far forward, but the Ravager Corrosive Biles are here. They land on one tank, they land on the second tank. The Marines get cleaned up at
Serral
the same
is
time.
so good. It doesn't even look fair. He's like so disgustingly good. He's got so many units out now already. Like that's a huge number of Roaches and Ravagers. This one is finishing up. The Biles were perfectly controlled. How much do we actually have to defend? Because he's going to send these Marines across. The reinforcements are going to try to deal with that. But what is here to stop this army? Are there tanks at home? One's about to finish, but are there actually any here?
Not a lot here, Nate. Not a lot. There's a Banshee that'll be helpful, but a lot of the Marines are even on the south side of the map. And that, oh wow, he just leaves.
He did.
That's it.
Serral seems to have gotten inside of uThermal's head at this point, as he goes up 3-0 in this best of 7 and.
It's looking dark and grim.
That one ended so suddenly. We didn't even have the lights on. We were going to do like the slow reveal and be like, you know, you go for like the noir thing, be like, and uThermal was never seen again for game number 4.
Oh man, this is a really rough spot. Being down 0-3, this is the weird thing. You can have such an awesome day, but when you get stomped like this by someone like Serral, all of the confidence you were just building up kind of just slowly gets shattered and kind of picked apart.
Well, it's like going to the gym and being like, yeah, I can lift this much weight. And then you find out, sadly, that you can't. And then you try and then you hurt yourself and you're like, well, my ego is forever destroyed.
Yeah.
And this is really difficult to commentate because I'm like, yeah, Serral is this good. He is better than everybody here by a large margin.
Yeah, and as a huge uThermal fan as well, like I also consider
I don't want a fake hype. I'm like, I already hyped up Serral. I'm like, what more am I supposed to do? I'm like, okay, can we? Well,
there's only one thing left to do, Nate, and that's to hop to a short little break and give uThermal some time to collect himself, maybe figure out what the plan is going to be going into game number 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are not done just yet. It's a best of 7, and we'll be back with game number 4.
This poor town has seen its share of trials. Now we face a new force, sinuous and vile.
The way ahead is haunted, our hackles stand on end.
We'll make our stand right here, our choice is crystal clear. We are the beasts, the monsters fear.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS EU Challenger. We are here in the grand finals, ready to move into game number 4 between Serral and uThermal. My name is Fear Dragon, and I am still here with Nathaniel.
You didn't run away?
I did not run away. You know
Not
what?
after
Because
that?
I believe in my boy uThermal. I believe in the chances.
Well, he doesn't believe in his boy uThermal.
He believes in his chances if he's allowed to
he
race switch,
spent-
which is technically not allowed in WCS in the middle of a series. But he's
goodness.
looking for it.
Okay, the chat's going in a dark direction. Okay, at first he was like, "Can I play Protoss?" And we're like, "No, you can't race switch during the series. It's not in WCS."
Yeah.
Then he asked Serral, and Serral's like, "I don't care." And they're like, well, "The rules are the rules."
Yeah.
So
Such is life.
uThermal's a little, maybe just a little.
He's just looking for ways to like sneak in a different approach to victory.
I love Mark. He knows I love him. He won't give me heat for this, but he's a little bit fired up. Our admin is using the thinking emoji in his reply. I love this. All right, this is great. This is great. So we're getting the next map set up. There's a little bit of a
Please play by play this.
cheeky banter going on. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we want to go into those dark depths of reality.
I think it's getting a little too meme heavy for me.
All you
down
guys
there.
need to know is that Serral is so good at the game that uThermal, like, it almost looks like he doesn't even want. He's like, I don't even know what to do for the rest of the series. He's like, I don't even want to play this.
Isn't that amazing? We actually have a player now in Starcraft that's so good and so dominant that in 3 games he crushes the will of his opponent to play at all. That's kind of absurd.
Yeah, we are having the rulebook brought up about playing to win. He's like, what if I believe my best chance to win is to pull the boys real fast?
Okay. Wow. I just feel like this is a new level of domination because I used to equate Serral's level of domination the past couple of
We
months.
haven't seen
with, like,
this.
Yeah, you'd think it's like with Stefan. No, it's not. It goes beyond Stefano
A player
levels.
hasn't been this mentally broken in a StarCraft series since what was it? Pult versus Naniwa. Okay, that was it. That was
Nest T versus Naniwa.
well. That was no. The Pult Naniwa was after that. But
That's fair.
my point is, uThermal's a little bit shook, so I don't know when we're gonna get into this game. It won't be too far away, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh man! Remember that, guys. There is $1,600 on the line for first place, as well as more WCS points. So there is a lot of reason to continue fighting, and those WCS points, especially with WCS Austin coming up so close to now. You have to remember how impactful that is on the seeding for each one of those group stages.
This is just great. Our admin's like, "Are you ready, guys?" Sarah's like, "Go." And uThermal's like, "Let me think of a lit meme. I need to tweet something spicy either before or after this game is over."
I hope that it's just a tweet and it's not a lit
We'll
meme
see.
in the game.
We'll see. Maybe he'll do my battle cruiser rush. I should just
I mean, just do Total Biscuit proud. Proxy the starport inside of your opponent's main base.
or proxy a tank.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Eastwatch.
Proxy the tank on Eastwatch inside of your opponent's base.
Yeah, that's
It could happen.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for we're just waiting for the players to win, and we'll be getting into this. But Serral has done a really good job. I think he's impressed as much as I thought. When we got here today, I'm like, yeah, Serral's probably gonna win very easily.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What do you think is so good about Serral?
Everything.
What
makes Serral good is the same thing that made Neeb so good, and it was that there wasn't something special about the player. There's nothing that's like, Serral is the best Zergling microer. It's like, no, he's probably not. It's like, Serral's the best hatch injector. It's like, no. Like, maybe he's one of the top ones, but like, that's not why he wins. Serral is very aware of everything that's happening. He is very good at scouting, reading, reacting, microing, macroing, controlling, and everythinging. And that is why he's so damn good.
How do you counter someone who's good at everything? That's what this guy is asking up here in the top right. Our red Terran player from Team Liquid, down to his last leg. Might be the last straw of his mental fortitude right now. It's uThermal.
Yeah. Yeah, he's facing off against this guy. The indomitable, the unstoppable, the incredible Serral.
All right. Well, Serral is not going to open up with crazy early aggression. He just goes to the hatch first. It's uThermal that's going to say, you know what? This is the lit meme I thought of. We're going to proxy 2 racks. He does not have any gas geysers, so my hopes of a 3 racks.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is the 2 racks into the factory.
Yeah, into the factory. Yeah.
That is a current popular build. The Overlord appears to have missed the proxy barracks, so I believe he's not aware of the shenaniganery occurring outside of his third base.
I really like this proxy location, actually. This is really... Because think about it. Even if it gets scouted, there's occasionally, once in a blue moon, you'll have the Zerg players that'll pull like a drone or 2 and try and snipe off the SCV building commands or the barracks. The SCV is so well protected behind the kind of wall of these Vespian geysers. There's very little chance it actually gets picked off.
Yeah, there's just almost no surface area available around that. So we have the Marines coming out. There's the bunker. And this is uThermal saying, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to try to get a win on the board, bring out the cheese. He doesn't want to get into a long game because he has realized that ain't going to work.
Okay, there it is. I was like, wait a second, he's not going to scout this, but yeah, the Marine does reveal itself as well. As it pokes out, and the bunker finishes up. He's got the second bumper. Oh, if he... I don't know if the SCV is going to finish in time. He might be able to get up a 3rd bunker. No, he's not going to go for the full wall.
Now that would be the lit meme he was looking for. SCV goes inside of the main base. He's like, all right, how you gonna deal with this? There is the Roach Warren. Should be expecting something very similar to the Black-Pink game in terms of what he's going to be up against once he kills the hatchery. And he should be able to kill the hatchery because there's the Roach Warren's not done yet. So he's got plenty of time to bust that down. And the lair is gonna start. This is different.
Oh, okay.
You think he's just gonna Nidus him? Yeah, he's gonna Nidus him.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense in this kind of situation.
Black-Pink is a much smaller map, so going across the map makes more sense. On this map, why bother dealing with the racks when you can just tunnel instant transmission into your opponent's base?
This does get a little bit weird, though, because uThermal's going to realize pretty shortly, like, wait a second, there's no roaches poking down, there's no Ravagers being made. Eventually, he's going to start realizing this, and the lair is only about halfway finished, or about 3/4 finished. The barracks is going to scout in and see that the lair is coming, and uThermal's immediately going to know about this. He has a factory finish up back at home, and he's got a reactor on the way. Cyclones are going to be really great for taking out Nidus Swarms quickly.
Yeah, depending on how many of them he has up and if whether they're in his base or not, I think is a really important question. But you see this lair. Yeah, no, you're right. Because he sees the lair, he should just build Cyclones. That's all he needs to do. Can he afford to?
Oh,
has gas for it. He needs to just get a few. He needs to just start cranking out the Cyclones.
I really don't like Serral. I mean, I kind of understand Serral moving down and trying to break these bunkers, but he loses 4 lanes in the process. Every unit matters when you're trying to go for a Nidus Worm all in on one base, though, Nate.
Looks like he's only going to have
Wait,
one Cyclone.
what?
There we go. Starts
He's
the second
building a command center?
Yeah, he should realize what's happening here. This should be very obvious. But building Banshees and Cyclones is still the appropriate response. Like, it's not like he's ignoring it, but I think that he should be. He should know that this is coming.
That supply block, though. He killed off an Overlord on his way back with the Marines that he unloaded from the bunker, so that's going to actually slow down some of the reinforcements here for a little bit. Oh, there's a full wall.
He walls in the Nidus.
So close. That little area by the reactor allows some of the Queens to escape out of here. He's going to be taking some good damage in the meanwhile. He's losing a lot of SCVs, but Serral just doesn't actually have that many units here.
The Banshee does a lot of work. However, there are enough Queens to deal with it, and it really just comes down to getting the rest of these units close enough, picking off the SCVs. Let's not forget, it is a one-base Zerg, so could be it. There's another Nidus Worm that is booting up on the bottom side. The Queens are out of energy. The Cyclone on the right side is dead, but another Cyclone pops out.
Wow.
He gets the Cyclone on the top side.
Okay, and remember that supply block has slowed down some of the reinforcements there for Serral, so he has a couple of units coming out, but it's only 3 Roaches, and there are a couple of these Marines. There's the Cyclones. Remember, uThermal invested in a command center on the low ground. It's not an orbital command just yet, but he can bounce back from a worker deficit.
Yeah, I think uThermal wins this game.
Oh my god, it kills off another one of these Nidus Worms, but a Zerg player on one base cannot really afford to throw down willy-nilly.
2 orbitals. Like, this might actually be how uThermal gets his.
Wow.
The drone's going to go down to the natural. The bunker's still there. And
That bunker is still just whittling away at the hatchery.
I guess it is just one Marine. That's not enough to actually stop this.
But Serral's not even... Okay, he's making a couple of ravages to break that bunker.
Okay. Well, Serral's not going to give up because he knows that he's really good at StarCraft.
Yeah, he's come back from worse situations, but he does still have a bit of a worker advantage, even if he's going to be down in those bases and his economy in the long term is going to be behind. In the immediate term, he is sitting in a kind of better economic position, so we'll see what he does with these units that he's kind of been making, and if he's going to be able to get aggressive, but uThermal already has a couple of Cyclones out again, so it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Such a weird game. I mean,
these are the games that uThermal loves, though. These are the games that uThermal, I think, thrives on. The kind of like weirdness.
I do believe that uThermal comes out. I would say that uThermal comes out ahead after all of this, mostly because the queens all died too. So it's not like there was a bunch of injects that could be had. The hatchery did not even start during that Nidus attack. So being able to build 2 workers at a time versus a Zerg that's got to rebuild their queens, get Overlord, spend the larva on replacing all the ones that were lost, as you mentioned, quite a few were picked off, and getting drones. Serral can't vault ahead in economy the way he'd want to because we have Banshees still being made and there are Hellions on the map.
I just realized it's not Zergling speed either. This is a really weird situation. So the rocks haven't been knocked down, which is something most Zerg players would normally do, but this is not a normal game. So the Hellions just kind of get to run straight in and confirm that 3rd base. It's going to be hard to get mining over there for a little bit as well. There's a lot of things that uThermal can kind of abuse in this situation as he gets a 3rd base up as well.
Yep. This is definitely the best opportunity I think uThermal has had, mostly because this game has been so strapped economically. The Banshee's in the main base, trying to pick off some drones.
Finding a few.
Yeah,
already killing off 3. That's a...
3 drone kills here is very big. You see that deficit. Oh, the Hellions got into the natural.
Whoa, killing off a lot more workers. They do get picked off.
He's got 6 more drones with those Hellions there. Not too shabby.
All right, Banshee makes its way out of the main base, is alive, and joins up with his partner, who can now join together and one-shot those workers. Serral is sitting down at 31, workers at 35, and uThermal has a 3rd base on the way. The Banshee's coming forward. Oh my god, there's no Spore in the natural. I feel like that might... Oh, no, he's not going to go in. I guess he knows the Overseers are morphing
He's worried about the Overseer.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't see the Overseer like
those 2 drones. Serral still does not have any money. He's going to have to deal with a mech army when he has nothing. He hasn't even added any tech. Okay, now he gets a Spire, but that's like it. That's the only thing he's added other than just trying to rebuild his economy during this game. The main base is losing mineral patches. The 3rd base, he loses more drones transferring over there. He's got to kill the Hellions and break those rocks down.
I know Serral has 3 bases, but this is a 2-base meta play at this point. He has 36 workers. The 3rd base is kind of a moot point right now. It is technically there in mining.
He did try to put drones there, but yeah, they all died, so...
At least it knocks down the rocks now, so now he just has to worry about defending that kind of front line area and then dealing with the Banshee harassment that can come in from any angle, of course. But, uThermal going into mech behind this. What do you
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like going into mech when you're in a weird situation like this because it makes it really hard to finish the game. In this situation, if you're uThermal, you want this game to end as quickly as humanly possible by like winding up a quick push with Stim and killing the Zerg because they spent so much time rebuilding their economy. But going for mech means that you need to have a good number of units to actually do anything. And Serral wants to try and keep uThermal on his side of the map because he's like, I don't want uThermal to wind up and go for an attack like that. I'm going to get some mutas out. He's even going for Carapace. He's going to build 7 mutas. And he's up 3-0, really. So it's not like he's concerned about anything.
Nate, okay, I guess the Thors are on the way. I love the kind of corruption on the factory to delay one of the Thors as well, but I was going to say there's really not much anti-air for these mutas, and because uThermal's going for mech, he could very well end up losing the Banshees, could lose a couple of the workers here. I mean, there's a lot of ways he could take some pretty significant damage to even just a handful of mutas because he has so few ways to react to them.
Yeah. Well, there's no anti-air, and being able to get any economic damage done back to him is really nice. And when I say no anti-air, yeah, I do know that there are Cyclones on the map, but Cyclones are just not really an effective way of dealing with mutas, especially without the upgrade. The Thor comes out, that is nice.
But all of the mutas end up surviving.
Yeah, you need missile turrets for situations like this. Those 7 SCVs are so important. Because both players are completely strapped for money, uThermal does not want to just start building missile turrets.
He doesn't even have an engineering bay. He's not even throwing down one down right now, I believe.
But he has to. That's what he needs to. He needs to build engineering bay, and he needs to get turrets. Oh my god, if he had found those Banshees, that would have been cash money. Oh wait, the Overseer sees him. Is he gonna turn around?
Oh yeah, he turns around with the
Oh, you
mutas.
best believe he gonna turn around.
Well, Banshees have a limited lifespan at this point, so they might as well try and get the damage out.
look
Oh,
at
he
that.
splits them up.
He's spread. How cute.
It works with Marines. Why not with Banshees?
Yeah, well, he can see the shimmer of that one on the creep, so it should be easy
Yeah.
for him to follow. And now the 3 Banshee rest.
Oh, well,
he's waiting for
the mutas
Overlord
can
speed.
follow the Overseer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's another story.
Well, the upgrade just finished, so he'll be able to get it. This is just Serral dotting the T's, crossing the I's.
Yeah. Looks like that Banshee tried to move into the base and wasn't quite as successful. And there's the Overseer catching up. Mutas get the pick off. But hey, you know what? Even just buying a bit of time where those mutas aren't really harassing you, when you didn't have any missile turrets up, is kind of some value. He kept one of the Banshees alive, so I'm not going to call this a total loss for uThermal.
No, he can't move out. It's really pretty difficult. He has to wait for all the turrets to finish if he wants to try and do a push. And he's got a good few turrets now. Some of these areas are still exposed. The mutas go into the main. Thors are very good. You know, the old magic boxing trick that people always talked about, 2 scans go in, he's looking for further attack. People always ask, like, well, why are mutas so bad now? Thor's got +1 armor in their default armor, which was a huge upgrade for them about a year or 2 ago. But also, about a year ago, the Thor's splash area of its, when the Liberator got super heavily nerfed versus air units, they made the Thor's splash radius bigger. So when you magic box, it doesn't actually, the Thor doesn't just shoot one muta anymore. So that technique is dead.
Yeah, the magic boxing and just diving in on top of Thors doesn't work nearly as well as it once did. We got the muta harassment happening over in the bottom right. The Thor is a little bit too immobile to really respond to this very quickly, so one Thor makes its way over.
Is he going to run into the army right here as these tanks
boy.
are out? They're not sieged. Oh, he doesn't have vision across the gap, so the tanks are able to siege and get a huge volley off. I just realized, not having an air unit, he couldn't bile the tanks as they were sieging because the length of sight blocker. He went right behind it. Really good use of that position by uThermal to stay alive.
Yeah, really, really well done. Kind of funny we don't see it come into effect that often in this late stage of the game, but yeah, if you don't actually have the air units, funny enough, Serral does have the mutas, but okay, he's gonna knock down the rocks, trying to delay this push. uThermal okay with doing the same?
Yeah. Well, Serral's just like, I've got a big army, but I want to bully you around. I want to drop biles. There we go. That's what you're seeing him trying to do. Gets huge biles. The Thor's taking tremendous damage. And don't forget, once those Thors are dead, this game suddenly gets very dangerous. If he kills the Thors, those mutas, as few as there may be of them, he can use those to knock down the rest of what's left in this army.
And most specifically, he can go straight after those siege tanks at the back line, but he's going to just move forward with all of the mutas going across the map and looking for reinforcements, it seems like. He might run into some reinforcing Thors at some point, but he's going to find the worker line. He's going to find little bits and pieces of damage he can get done, while the Roaches and Ravagers just try and buy time with corrosive biles and get more and more of these pickoffs.
Yeah, the biles are really landing very nicely on this Terran army. The Hellbat drops onto the Ravagers. I love it. I absolutely love it. More Roaches are coming out, but he has chipped away so much at this Terran mech ball that's been crossing the map. It's lost a lot of its firepower. It's lost a lot of its steam. And the Thors are still a very vulnerable target here. Picks off a Cyclone.
Yep.
Nope, doesn't lose a muta there.
Oh man, this is so brutal. He's gonna lose even more of the siege tanks. Serral
loses another one of the Thors.
That's it. uThermal's push has just been crushed.
Yep, and there's not a whole lot he can do. He can try to run behind the rocks and break it, but now it needs to be careful of those mutas getting annoying again. They're gonna fly in. Did he just? Okay, I thought he almost sniped the medevac that had the Thor in it. I'm like,
well, mutas are still gonna be alive and kicking and just kind of doing little bits of annoying harassment, as few as there are.
A Fear Dragon, I would like to reiterate my point from earlier, which is it is really hard to close out a game when you're ahead with mech.
Yeah, this is not going super well for uThermal, and this is actually a situation where I want to say Serral has crawled his way back into this game and taken a lead, dare I say. He's fighting with Mutas versus the Thor. His Roaches and Ravagers having a bit of trouble closing in through the gap, but the siege tank count.
Attacking a defensively postured mech player is never going to be easy, but Serral has that cash money. You know, he's rolling up with that platinum card, buying all the Zerg units. He's got bases for days. He's got the gold minerals, and he's got, yeah, he's got a great thing going on right now. And uThermal, this is not a normal game where we would say, he's got the 4th base. He's good. Just keep moving forward. uThermal's broke.
Yeah.
The main base is pretty much mined out.
He is about to mine out in 4 or 5, 2 more gas. And there we go. He's mining out of one of the gas geysers. Gonna mine out the other one soon. So yeah, this is not that typical situation where he's gonna have that longevity because he has 4 bases.
Yeah.
Like Serral trying to knock down these rocks, opening up more avenues for attack against a mech army, just makes it more difficult for uThermal. Since right now, trying to move through these 2 choke points clearly does not prove to be very easy to do. But
No.
now we end up getting into hive tech for Serral.
Let's not forget that he still has a Nidus network that he could bust out again at any point.
Yeah,
There's
I
an
forgot
Overlord
about
in the
that.
top left.
He did keep that alive somehow.
I'm just saying, you could teleport behind it. That's all. That Overseer's there. Like,
Oh, man.
he's got to been thinking about this at least a little bit, right?
In a world where uThermal has to rebuild all of his production. Oh,
I seriously think that he should. If you can't get the Terran player to come out, okay, well now uThermal's coming out, so this is where things get weird again. But I'm like, if the Terran player wants to sit back and not move a whole lot, and you already have a Nidus, and there's nothing in the man, you should do it. What's inside the 3rd base? Something just, he's got a little,
a couple of roaches moving forward.
roaches swing by.
Killing off a couple of these workers. Little bits and pieces of damage done. uThermal sitting down 54 workers, but at this point, I think he's okay with just replenishing some of the army supply because he's not exactly mining off of that many bases in the first place.
Yeah. I'd also like to mention that he did see the starports coming in, so you should expect the Raven transition to be coming out of uThermal.
I think that's the big saving grace here for uThermal. If we can get up into that massive Raven cloud, that is where, even if you're behind, you can start really making some incredibly cost-efficient engagements happening.
Yeah, Parasitic Bomb on the Vikings. Keep in mind, because there's so many medevacs, that also really hurts the ability to use those too now.
Yeah, a lot of those medevacs getting really low on hit points. Corrosive Biles getting some good damage done. So are the Blinding Clouds delaying some of this mech push, but
Good job getting the
army
drones.
alive.
He did a good job of getting the drones out of that base, because at the same time he's killed all the SCVs again at this 3rd. That orbital command might also die. Tunneling Claws is ready. Burrow was researched as well, so there's a lot of work that he can do here. Eliminating those orbital commands opens up Burrow plays. The Cyclones are definitely a huge threat to the Roach composition though.
Blinding Cloud going down on top of some of the Thors, but the number of units here for Serral is starting to dwindle really quickly. Even the Vipers are starting to run out of energy. uThermal, he's getting surrounded from every single side. Serral needs to make the hold here, and it looks like he's just barely coming short of it for now.
Yeah, he hasn't had his production completely camped yet, but this Ling Flood, realizing that there's no Hellions, this army should be able to be beaten with a huge round of Lings. I do like that uThermal focuses down the hatch. He gets a good shot with the Thor, but he's going to Blinding Cloud the tanks, and here comes the Floodgates. The Lings with no speed upgrades. Spear Dragon.
20 minutes in, the Ling Flood of slow Lings cleans up the army, and so close.
Be still, my beating heart.
He's going to pull it. Oh, doesn't even need to pull it. Wow, really well done. Snipes off one of the very important Thors that uThermal had left alive.
Please don't stop.
Oh my god, not like this. Not like this. Okay, well, why is he even at these siege tanks here?
What are you doing in my swamp? Well, I'm just saying that I thought he should have done a bio follow-up, because then maybe, and then the mutas wouldn't have been an issue. But
Nate, Serral is really good at StarCraft.
Serral is really good at StarCraft.
He is really wow.
He's going for the campaign meme build. All right, this is what we were looking for. Okay, he is getting Zergling speed. He's not trying to BPM.
Oh,
There we go.
That's it.
Serral is your WCS Europe champion. He's the champion of Europe. That's his official title.
Yeah. in case it wasn't already clear or, you know, claimed at this point, after he won WCS Leipzig, after he has dominated the scene, the entire European scene, and even a bit of the North American scene for the past 3-4 months, yeah, we've determined officially, scientifically, that Serral is really freaking good at Starcraft.
Yep, that's why we brought Jeff, Dr. In Control Robinson, out here to crunch the numbers for us. I'd like to thank him for his participation in this season of Challenger as well. He's a great guy. But yeah, that does it for Europe Challenger. And is anyone surprised? No, I'm not. Serral's really good. He's the best player here. No one should have beat him.
But it's nice to have the confirmation 100%. Any of the doubters out there can now completely be silenced and quenched.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at how Serral just dominated the entire European scene. First of all, just today, he was able to take that 3-0 versus Stefano. He took the 3-1 versus Hero Marine, so he locked down the ZvZ and the ZvT, and then locked down one final ZvT in a best of 7 versus uThermal 4-0. But still, uThermal, I'm sure he's got to feel at least a little bit proud. He did a great job making it and getting second place. Of course, those top 4 of Hero Marine, Serral, uThermal, as well as Petit Drogo also got that top 4 finish, which one of the things we do like to mention here is that they do also get a seed into WCS Austin. That's going to be the next big thing coming up for these guys.
Yeah, WCS Austin is going to be great. That's going to be the first 3 days of June. Do not miss it. It'll be on this channel. And then, of course, the Challenger memes, while they're open for Europe, now we can put on our 10-gallon hats and talk about how great our country is.
Oh, yeah.
We've got WCS America coming up tomorrow.
Oh, I am looking forward to this.
We
Nate,
don't have to be here at 3 in the morning for it.
Hey, that's probably my second favorite part. My favorite part is that as we get ready to hop into that day number 2 where we're going to be doing the NA Challenger bracket, guys, this bracket looks awesome. I am a North American fanboy. I don't know if you guys know that I'm a North American fanboy. I've expressed it a few times, but it's a really, really awesome region. And of course, I'm really looking forward to these games. We got Neve versus Panda Bear and me, probably one of the more one-sided ones a lot of people are expecting, but Pock versus Semper
should be a good match.
People have been hating on me. This is the match that I'm the most excited about this entire weekend. You know, uThermal versus Showtime was awesome. This is my match. This is my most excited match. Masa versus No Regret is also going to be a fun little meme fest, and Scarlet versus Jon Snow is just going to be a super interesting match in a lot of different ways, but we can talk more about that tomorrow.
A lot of mind games, I think, and I think you've got 2 players that could realistically take it this time. I think that for me, I look at Neeb and Scarlet. Those are the 2 players to keep your eyes out for in a big way. The rest of these players could upset because Neeb and Scarlet have their moments, but I'm really excited for that. That's going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. CEST. So for all you Euro bros, you're going to have to get up late. We were up early for you. Come hang out with us. We do like you.
It's not that late for you either. I think it's just like an evening dinner time.
It starts then.
It starts then.
We have been on for a good 6 or so.
That's why we have No Regret, okay? That's true. That's why we
games
brought
will be
him
fast
in.
anyway.
There
Scarlet, No Regret.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We got a ZvZ with Scarlet Jon Snow. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah. You guys should definitely check it out. Whether you're in Europe, whether you're in North America, whether you're in Australia or wherever else you may be. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.